Hello everyone and welcome to another webinar from the Wealth Building CPA. I'm your host Yasmin Razak and it's my pleasure today to chat to our client of the month, Pete Queensbury. Hi Pete, how are you doing today?
I am well, how are you?
Great, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to be chatting to Pete in just a few seconds. He's a licensed realtor, business owner and cybersecurity professional based in the Bay Area of California. Before we get to the interview, here's a little bit about Ebere and her services for those of you who are looking to focus on building wealth, which I hope is all of you. Ebere is a CPA, an active real estate investor, and founder of the Wealth Building CPA. She owns real estate investments in 5 states across the Eastern Coast. Her company has helped over 5,000 people like you to prepare their taxes online and offline. Her greatest joy comes from helping clients, friends, and associates become free of financial stress. So let Ebere and her team make your financial life more profitable and book a free consultation at the number on the screen. Okay, Pete, how are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you, Yasmin.
Great. Thank you. I was very interested when I asked you to send over your bio. And you put in there that you are rewired, not retired, after 40 years in the tech business. What exactly does that mean?
Well, when you retire, that generally gives the thought that you're going to become inactive, that you're not making progress, that you're not improving yourself, and optimizing things that you've done over the course of your life. So I've learned quickly over the last year of not working, at a regular W-2 job, that there are many opportunities, and in many ways, things are just beginning for me, both from a personal standpoint, an emotional standpoint, family, and most importantly, from a spiritual standpoint. So great opportunity for me.
Oh, that's excellent. I love to hear optimistic attitudes towards the dreaded word retirement. Everybody has a different concept of it, and yours seems to be very exciting. So that's going to be interesting to hear about. Now, let's start at the beginning of your real estate investing career. How did you get introduced into real estate investing?
It was actually in high school some years ago. I won't say exactly how many. But I worked for a company that was run by a gentleman named Melvin Funk. He owned a title company, a mortgage company, and several other lending businesses. And what this gentleman did, he allowed kids from the local high schools to work there part-time as part of their career building, as well as to, give them a taste of what it's like to work, in the business field. And as a parting gift, upon graduating from high school, he would offer the kids to go through his real estate school, his real estate course. So as assistant office manager, I learned a lot about the real estate business. And of course, when he offered to allow me to take the course, I said, this is a great opportunity. I liked what I learned, learning about, what real property is, how to do appraisals, some of the intricacies of contracts, and most importantly, ethics. So I actually began my real estate career back in pre-1980s. I'll just leave it there. And I was actually a licensed real estate agent in New Jersey for a short period of time. Then in 1991, I began my investment career here in California. I worked full-time, but my wife is a licensed realtor, so we were able to use our background to launch our investing business. And it was something that we were able to manage on a part-time basis. And I actually became licensed in California in 2004. And so that's really where the current part of my journey began.
Okay, well, that's great that you had a mentor right from the beginning. Many real estate investors don't and make expensive mistakes. So that was great, a great opportunity for you. So you started going into real estate seriously once you learned how to do it. Somebody showing you the ropes. Do you remember your very first deal? What that was like?
Yeah, I do. It was a home that my wife found. It was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. We were able to purchase that home for $185K. Took about $30K in rehab. We were able to rent that property for about 3 years. So there was $36K in income that we had over the 3 years, and we actually sold it for $350K. So we didn't know it at the time, but that was a pretty decent deal for us, as first-time investors, where we were able to see, at the gross level, approximately 78% return on that investment. And then most recently, pardon me, we purchased a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. This was not in California, but we purchased that for $124K, and recently sold that for $200K after 5 years. And overall, we were able to turn that initial investment into a 119% return gross, minus operating expenses and other costs. But again, we feel that we did pretty good. And then in the interim, between the first deal and that last sale, we feel that we've done pretty well, both with our fix and flips as well as our rent and hold properties over the years.
Okay, wow, those are some incredible numbers that you were spitting out there. 78% return on your first deal. That's something. So what would you say some of the challenges were that you faced whilst doing these? Because, but whether you're buying and holding or fixing and flipping, there's a lot of challenges.
Right. Yeah, I would say right now the biggest challenge is finding deals. I believe, the inventory issue is something that we're seeing nationwide. It's really pronounced here in California, but I believe that is an issue elsewhere. So finding a deal that makes sense from an investment standpoint, making sure that you understand, what your exit strategy is going to be. And then getting the deal in quickly, not waiting. That's really the biggest challenge that we're seeing right now as it relates to investment in real estate.
Okay, so it sounds like you and your wife are a great team. Would you mind sharing what you think was one of your most profitable deals that you've worked on?
Well, the one that I referenced, where we went in at 124K, there was this was move-in condition, so there was no rehab required. We rented that property for 5 years, and upon sale, the gross return was 119%. So we were able to sell that property for over 200K, and of course, if you add in the 60 months of rental income, the total return was in the area of 119%.
Okay, that's really, really inspiring. All right, so we've talked about your real estate. What would you wish you had known at the start of your real estate career?
Well, as I mentioned, the challenges that we see in the real estate investing arena primarily revolve around finding deals. And we were very, very cautious. Obviously no one is in this to lose money, but when you invest, there's always a certain degree of risk that you have to accept. But one of the things that we've learned, over the years is that in order to land deals, you have to make offers, lots of offers. You have to run your numbers, do your diligence, and then get your offers out there to the sellers. Another thing that we realized a little later in the game is don't be afraid to invest out of state. Initially, all of our real estate activity was confined to the Bay Area here in California, but as we all know, the cost of real estate is just astronomical, and so the dollar for dollar return on an investment property here, it may make it, it may be feasible in some scenarios, but we were finding that just didn't fit our risk profile after some time. So we began looking out of state and have had some fairly significant success with that. The other thing I would say, if we had known earlier, is that if you use leverage, which seems counterintuitive at first due to the cost of money, but the ROI numbers are actually better if you finance your property instead of paying cash. This is especially true, obviously, for a property that you live in, but it's also true for property that you purchase as an investment. And then, as I mentioned, all investments involve risk, and a rule of thumb that we always keep in mind is that we are only willing to invest what we're comfortable losing. Nothing's guaranteed. Make sure that we get the diligence done and understand what our exit strategy is. So these are some things that we had to learn over the years, and if we had known a little earlier, things would have been even better than they have. No regrets, but those are lessons that all investors should learn, and learn well early in their career.
Hey, you got some great tips there. I can see why Ebere selected you as Client of the Month. So it's great to see that you're learning your lessons and putting them to good use in future, so you don't repeat them. Okay, so how did you find out about the Wealth Building CPA, and how has Ebere and her team helped you to grow your business?
That's actually another lesson learned. After 27 years of trying to figure out how, what the code is in terms of seeing tax benefits from having a business, we were introduced to Ebere, and I have to say that was really life-changing, and changed, a huge change as far as our business was concerned. So we were referred to Ebere after pleading, with other investors and colleagues to tell us who could actually help us as an investor with accounting and tax planning. And so I have to say that, once we were able to connect with Ebere, our time with her has been a game changer. It's said that building wealth, it doesn't really matter how much you make, it's how much you keep. And Ebere and team clearly are experts on both taxes and planning, but they're also real estate investors, so they understand some of the intricacies of real estate investing, how the finances work. And I also appreciate that, they're not just there to do year-end planning, file taxes, and, help you out in the event of an audit, but they also help out with, proper entity structure, the formalities, and in my opinion, the Wealth Building CPA team is unrivaled in terms of the expertise in customer service for real estate investors, at least in my experience. I would have to say that.
Well, that's great. It's wonderful to hear that from you. And also because you're not in the state of Maryland or in the DC metropolitan area, it's interesting to hear from perspective from somebody who's on the other side of the state. So thank you for that testimonial. And as we wrap up this interview, I just want to ask you, what is your definition of success? What would you say makes you feel like you've succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be financial.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I think being optimized, really, and as you know, as a spiritual person, I firmly believe that you know, your life or your quality of life does not necessarily result from the things that you possess or how much money you have. Money is something that serves a purpose, and you can use it wisely or unwisely. So we like to approach things from the standpoint of optimization. You know, what can we do to optimize our time? You know, to optimize our health, to optimize, you know, the quality of our family life. And as I mentioned at the onset of the interview, spirituality is something that is extremely important to us. And, you know, some of the adjustments that we've made have allowed both my wife and I to spend more time, you know, focused on spiritual things and helping others with that as well. And so I think those are some of the important things that, you know, everyone, investor or otherwise, do well to keep in mind as they pursue, you know, work through their goal setting over the course of their lives.
Oh, that's great, insightful answer. Thank you, Pete. So what's in the future for your business, and how can listeners either get in touch with you regarding deals or just find out more about your business?
So I am a realtor, and that will, I'll continue doing that with my wife. It's something that I do enjoy. But as I mentioned, you know, I'm no longer working a 40-hour job, you know, with a W-2 income. It was that job went away as a result of a workforce reduction about a year ago. Not a bad thing. But I'm currently working on some e-com opportunities, actually based on a drop ship model. I'm approximately 6 months into that and slowly ramping sales. So the goal is to really use this as an additional stream of income. Real estate is cyclical, and we don't know what the future is going to bring. So in the absence of, you know, that my prior employment, hopefully this will bring some level of another stream of income that will help offset the loss of my W-2 job. And as I mentioned, you know, that wasn't a bad thing, and it has allowed me to really sit down and reprioritize what's important. That's the whole rewiring, not retiring. And of course, working with the wealth building CPAs, I've been able to shift, you know, the impact of earned income to the business, where we've benefited, you know, even though the total income might be lower, having the benefits of a pass-through entity has been great from a tax perspective. So that's what I'm currently working on. We'll do that along with our real estate, and as we're able to maintain balance, we'll see where that takes us.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us today, Pete, and we wish you continued success.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Yasmin. My pleasure.